following presentation is brought to you by Karma Cafe. We have no menus. You get what you deserve. And Osterhovel Cheese Slicers. We cut the cheese for you.
Hi, I'm Xorti Magica, and thank you for joining me today. I hope that you've been having a great week, and I hope that you've been having fun. And before we jump into the program, so to speak, I just have a question for you. What was the coolest thing that happened to you this week? Was it fun? Did you get a chance to be with friends? Did you get to try out something new? Did you go like on a romantic adventure or an adventure of any type, really? Did you have fun? I hope you did. I hope you did. So I want to ask you something. Have you ever had a situation, a serious situation that you had to act properly or be formal or, play it straight-laced, and then something happened that just made you laugh or giggle? You're supposed to behave, but it takes every ounce of restraint you have to not laugh your ass off. Does that happen to you a lot? For me, it happens more than it should. So this one time I was in an art show that had both original paintings and prints of famous paintings. Now, the person that I was with was a true art person. You know the type, right? They know a lot of stuff, knew pretty much everything about art, and was a little bit serious about it. Now, you can probably guess that I'm not. I know some. I actually had an art class, and we spent 6 weeks drawing popcorn kernels. And I gotta tell you, I lost my craving for actually doing art at that point. So we were looking at these paintings, and there's a big gigantic print of American Gothic. You've seen the painting, it's this one. And by the way, this is a painting that is extremely famous, and everyone's made fun of it, including yours truly. There we go, now we made fun of it. There's something about this painting. If you want something fun to do, take a look at all of the American Gothic memes and jokes. It's a great painting, but for some reason we do make fun of it. Now, things were cool until I read the nameplate. American Gothic by Grant Wood. Grant Wood, sorry, but I just couldn't help laughing. It's a funny name. It sounds like the name of someone in the adult film industry. Actually, no. It's like the name of a genie that grants special wishes to middle-aged dudes with erectile dysfunction. I'm sorry, but I couldn't stop laughing. Now, if that had been it, I would have been okay, but no. Especially when I saw the painting called Appraisal. Here it is. I looked at it and I thought, Grant Wood's cock. And I really lost it then. I can't help it. I have this random mind and I was starting to laugh a little bit louder, right? Grant Wood's cock. So the person I was with, I think she was getting a little bit annoyed with me, but not horribly annoyed. She's like, shh, Xorti, you're gonna get us kicked out of here. Now, there was more from Grant Wood. I'm sorry, Grant Wood. Spring in Town looks like an episode of CSI. I can't help it. I look at it and I'm like, oh my God, my mind is kind of random when I look at this stuff. But it was looking at Parson Weems' fable that I really lost it. Here it is. Now, that bullshit about George Washington and the cherry tree, that never happened. This guy, Parson Weems, who was like this biographer and minister, he just made this shit up. In my mind, here's what happened. Washington was an adult and he was hanging out with this hooker named Cherry Tree, and he wanted to chop her down with his man tool, but he had erectile dysfunction and wasn't able to chop down Terry's tree. I know. The thought was so ridiculous that I laughed really loud, pretty much getting us kicked out of the joint. So, does this happen to you too? Does that giggle laugh thing come in, right? It happened to me another time too. Now, before I share this story, I need to do the disclaimer. This story happened in a church, but it has absolutely nothing to do with religion or spirituality. Because I would never make fun of that. I just wouldn't. Anyway, my friend Jake's mom had passed away. Her name was Juanita, and she was a really, really cool gal. A very nice lady. Just salt of the earth. Just a true sweetheart. And because Jake was my friend, of course, I went to her funeral and sat in the back row. But here's the deal. The regular minister was not able to make it, so they had a replacement minister come from another church in another town, and nobody knew this until the day of. It was fine. I'm sitting in the back row and I'm being, solemn. And when he started talking though, I saw that the poor guy had a speech impediment. He stuttered whenever he sounded out the letter J. Now, I would never make fun of people with speech impediments, but this was going to be a problem, especially with the letter J in a church. And he started talking.
I'd like for us to take a moment to think about Jesus.
Oh my God, this guy was killing me here. I heard Jesus, and my mind automatically saw the minister as like a rapper in a nightclub.
Jesus. 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 Jesus.
Because that's how my mind works. I tried to suppress them, and luckily I was in the back row. They weren't out of control just yet, but you know how these stories go, right? Unfortunately, this guy made it worse. And he said,
as we think about Juanita.
And that was it. I lost it. I really lost it. And again, it's not a slight towards him. It was just a ridiculous thing all around. And I saw my friend, right? I saw Jack in the front row, and he had a weird look on his face. And I figured, oh shit, I pissed him off. So I went outside. And I was out there. All I thought was my fucking random mind got me in trouble yet again. When's it gonna stop? When it was over, I was outside still, and I saw Jack coming to me, and he had that weird look on his face. He got close, and I started to apologize, but he spoke first. He said, "Did you hear that? Hear that?" And we both busted up laughing, right? At least that one turned out okay. thank God. But they don't always turn out nicely, but we'll save that for another day. So, if there is a moral to these stories, maybe it's that you shouldn't invite me to serious events, right? Unless there's an escape route or a back door or something, right? Just don't invite me. I don't know. I just don't know. Anyway, on that ridiculous note, I'm going to take a quick break and show some clips. Please know though that I'm honored to share these thoughts and these stories with you. It really means a lot. As crazy as these things are, I am glad to share them with you. So again, thank you so much. I'll be right back. Check out these clips. Hey, welcome back. So, do you ever forget something silly, maybe something from your childhood, and then find yourself smiling or even laughing when you hear about it or think about it years later? So, one of the first things I ever heard was a poem by Tyler Rager called Two Dead Boys. I first heard it like a million years ago, but I still laugh when I hear it, even now. So I thought I'd share that with you, and let's go ahead and make this the first poetry reading here. So for our first official poetry reading, this is the Xorti Magica presentation of Two Dead Boys. Here we go. Ladies and gentlemen, skinny and stout, I'll tell you a tale I know nothing about. The admission is free, so pay at the door. Now pull out a chair and sit on the floor. One bright day in the middle of the night, two dead boys got up to fight. Back to back they faced each other, drew their swords and shot each other. A blind man came to see fair play, the mute man came to shout hooray! The deaf policeman heard the noise and came to stop those two dead boys. He lived on a corner in the middle of the block in a two-story house on a vacant lot. A man with no legs came walking by and kicked the lawman in his thigh. He crashed through a wall without making a sound into a dry creek bed and suddenly drowned. A long black hearse came to cart him away, but he ran for his life and is still gone today. I watched from the corner of the table, the only eyewitness to facts of my fable. And if you doubt my lies are true, just ask the blind man. He saw it too. I just can't help it. That one just cracks me up. So, do you remember any childhood songs and poems? Which ones were your favorites? So, there was one that always confused me. That was a song called Billy Boy. Do you remember this one? So, I'm going to go ahead and just recite the lyrics. Part of them anyway. And here's the thing with this song, as far as I can figure it, It seems like a police interrogation. So here we go. Oh, where have you been, Billy boy, Billy boy? Oh, where have you been, charming Billy? And so now Billy responds, I have been to seek a wife. She's the joy of my life. She's a young thing and cannot leave her mother. I hope Billy boy's charming wife isn't jailbait, but I digress. So the interrogation continues. Did she bid you to come in, Billy boy, Billy boy? And he responds with, yes, she bade me to come in. There's a dimple in her chin. She's a young thing and cannot leave her mother. Now at this point I have to wonder, does Billy boy have like ADD or something? Because I'm not sure what the chin and coming in have to do with each other. It's like the dude can't focus or something. And the song continues. Can she make a cherry pie, Billy boy, Billy boy? And he says, she can make a cherry pie, quick as a cat can wink an eye. She's a young thing and cannot leave her mother. Okay, cats. Did she set you for a chair, Billy boy, Billy boy? And he says, yes, she sat me for a chair. She has ringlets in her hair. She's a young thing and cannot leave her mother. I know, I think Billy has some focus issues. So finally, whoever's asking this guy stuff finally gets to the point. How old is she now, Billy boy, Billy boy? So Billy responds this way. 3 times 6 and 4 times 7, 28 and 11. She's a young thing and cannot leave her mother. So let's figure that out using this thing called math, right? You have to do multiplication first. So 3 times 6, that's 18. And 4 times 7, that's 28. Plus 28 plus 11. So 18 plus 28 plus 28 plus 11. So she's 85. So Billy boy is basically gerontosexual, which is great, which is fine. But this young girl is way past Cougar Town. So here's some possibilities for us to consider. A, Billy digs older women, which is great. B, Billy is also in his 80s. Because nowhere in this interrogation/song does he actually say how old he is. C, Billy is after the young girl's social security check. And D, just how old is her mother? Is she even alive? Is this like a Bates Hotel type of thing? I think we need to start a GoFundMe page for Billy. I think this guy's gonna need some help here. What do you think? So speaking of confusing child things, then there's Rockabye Baby. You've heard this song. I mean, here's these lyrics. Rockabye baby on the treetops. When the wind blows, the cradle will rock. When the bough breaks, the cradle will fall, and down will come baby, cradle and all. I mean, what kind of bullshit parenting is this? I don't know about you, but I'm calling Child Protective Services. Because let's face it, this kid is totally fucked. And it's probably the same house for the song It's Raining, It's Pouring, the old man is snoring. He bumped his head on top of the bed and couldn't get up in the morning. I mean, this dude is in a coma, right? Nice family care here. Now this one's a little bit more obscure. This is called Lucy Locket. I don't know if you remember this one. Lucy Locket lost her pocket. Kitty Fisher found it. Not a penny was there in it, only ribbon round it. This one was such a bizarre, and I'm thinking, why are we singing about this? So I had to actually look this up, and Kitty Fisher was a prostitute in London in the 18th century. And Lucy Locket was a barmaid. So apparently there was a fight between these two in a bar over some dude. And if that did happen, you know that while these ladies were duking it out, all the dudes in the place were just watching and hooting and hollering and placing bets. Because this could have been the very first pay-per-view event in history. And speaking of history, there's that Here We Go Round the Mulberry Bush song, right? Here we go round the mulberry bush, mulberry bush, mulberry bush. Here we go round the mulberry bush on a cold and frosty morning. And so with this song, the only thing that changes is the first line, so I'm gonna do those. This is the way we wash our face. This is the way we comb our hair. This is the way we brush our teeth. This is the way we put on clothes. And so the theory of this song is that it's about prison activities in England somewhere. There was an actual mulberry tree in the prison there. But I really can't help wanting to add verses to it though. This is the way we take a dump, right? This is the way to Pizza Hut. This is the way to Xorti's house, right? Something. You know what? Actually, that idea sounded much better in my head. So I think that maybe it's these songs that have made us crazy. What do you think? On that rather ridiculous note, I'm going to take a quick break and show some clips. I'll be right back. Hey, welcome back. So, have you ever had moments that restore your faith in people? You know, those little moments that kind of restore your faith in humanity. You know, those ones that inspire you with hope. Not necessarily big moments, but just moments. And if you do they happen a lot? I hope they do for you. So I want to tell you a little story about one day when I really needed faith in people and I actually got to experience it. This was a long time ago. It was in California and I had this programming job, and on this particular day I had been working like a crap load of hours, and it was one of those days where like things that should have taken a certain amount of time seemed to take like forever to figure out. So it was like 16 hours and it was one of those days. And even though I was somewhat productive, I was feeling a little down. Also, I was pretty tired, and it was during one of those times where life was kind of meh. I'm pretty sure you've been through times like that, right? On top of that, it was a drizzly, cold day. Now, normally I'd love the rain. I think it's pretty awesome. But since I was tired and down, it just added to the funky mood. So I got in my car, started driving home, when I noticed that I hadn't eaten like in over 10 hours, and I was pretty damn hungry now. So I was looking for a place to eat. And as I was driving, I spotted a sushi restaurant that I'd never been to before. Driven by lots of times, but never got in. Now I gotta tell you, I absolutely love sushi. I love the taste, I love the sensation of it, I like it all. I like uni and hamachi and sweet shrimp, salmon, toro, all of it. And no, I'm not gonna do a Forrest Gump type of bit about sushi. Anyway, seeing this place, I perked up a little bit. Maybe, just maybe, this day wouldn't suck totally and it would end well after all. So I parked in the parking lot and went inside, but no one was there. Not even the sushi chef. It was empty. It was 8:55 and the place closes at 9. All of a sudden this dude came out and saw me. He looked at me and I just asked, You guys are closed, aren't you? Yeah, they were closed. I felt extremely disappointed. I mean, shit. A shitty ending to a shitty day. Fuck. So I turned around and I started to walk away. That's when I heard it. You had a bad day, didn't you? I turned around. It was the guy behind the counter. You look like you had a bad day. Why don't you just go ahead and grab a seat? What? Huh? No, seriously, go ahead and have a seat. I'll serve you. Really? I was so surprised. Yeah, what would you like to drink? And I must have been totally clueless because it took me a few seconds to respond. Tall Sapporo if you have it. And also, what's your name? My name's Andy. What's yours? Xorti. So Andy not only made me practically every type of sushi that I loved, it was the best sushi I had ever had up to that point. It was just amazing. So I asked him, Andy, why did you serve me? I mean, you had a long day too. You could be home relaxing or partying or something. And he just smiled. He didn't say anything. He didn't have to say anything. I knew. So we raised our glasses and did a silent toast, and then he continued making awesome sushi for like well over an hour. And the conversation was fun too. When it was over, though, he wouldn't accept my money. I was gonna thank him, but before I could say anything, he thanked me. Andy, why are you thanking me? And then he just looked at me and he said, because you allowed me to give you a gift. I haven't been able to do that in a while, so thank you, Xorti. And you know, between you and me, sometimes my eyes get a little misty when I think about it. And of course, after that, I went back every chance I got. Because man, that dude made some awesome sushi. But you know, it's amazing how little moments like that can really make a difference in our lives. It probably wasn't a big deal to Andy. But for a guy who's having a crappy day and feeling pretty meh in general, it actually meant a lot. So how about you? Have you had little moments like that? Moments where someone reached out to you when you really needed it? You know, I hope that you have had them. And I also hope that you have had a lot of them. Anyway, thank you for letting me share the story with you. It means a lot that you allow me to use my voice because we don't always get the chance to use our voices fully. So it is such a great honor when we can. On that note, I'm going to take a quick break and show a couple of clips. You know, someone recently asked me why I present these clips, and I really had no philosophical answers for the person. All I said was, because they're fun. And perhaps fun is all we need sometimes. Again, thank you for spending time with me. I'll be right back. I hope you enjoy these clips. Hey, thank you for joining me today. I hope you had as much fun as I did. We sure did some crazy stuff today and talked about some crazy things. But you know what? I think it's okay that we're a little bit crazy in the fun way. I want to thank you so much for letting me share my voice and my stories with you. it really does make a difference. And I encourage you to use your voice and share your stories and have fun and laugh at silly, giggly stuff and just have a great time whenever you can. In that way, we can truly change the world. Again, thank you so much for joining me. Please have fun, be fun, and be yourself. Again, thank you for your company. Bye for now.